Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's special VRA podcast with our special guest, Wayne Allen Root. We've been looking forward to this one for some time here. So, Wayne, thank you for joining us here today. Quickly here, I'll just give a quick recap for everyone on today's market action before we jump in because it was a good day out there today. We saw some more all-time highs here today. So, Kip, if you hear anything that I might have missed, feel free to jump in here. Dow with another big day today, up over 600 points, nearly 650 points on the day. That is an all-time high. We also saw an all-time closing high from the S&P 500, first close above 6,900, and an all-time high from the small caps as well. Looking quickly at the internals on the day, good day, positive across the board. And for commodities, silver making another big
Yeah.
move today, getting above $64 an ounce.
Yes.
Gold now back above
Yes.
$4,300 an ounce as well. Gold miners, fantastic
Yes.
day on the day today. Is there anything in there? I didn't want to spend too much time on that. Is there anything in there I might have missed?
It was a good day. We got a Jekyll and Hyde kind of thing with Jay Powell yesterday. We got a normal Fed chair yesterday. It seemed to have some common sense, and it really helped out. And the rest, of course, is the golden age of America is here. The Trump economic miracle, the innovation revolution, an absolute ocean of liquidity are kind of our three big themes. And as everybody knows here, we've been the most bullish strategists in America since the October 13th, 2022 bear market lows. That's documented. We think next year is going to be a barn burner of a year. Tyler, thanks for getting us started, bud.
Absolutely. Now, looking forward to getting into it with Wayne here. I know we've got a lot of exciting stuff to talk about. We've been looking to this forward to this one for a while. So again, thank you, Sir Wayne Allen Root, for joining us today.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's great to be with you, but I want to tell you the exciting news on my end is that I just now checked in on my E-Trade account. What a great day, Kip! What a great day!
it
Vista
was.
Gold and
Yes.
Snowline Gold through the
Yeah.
roof.
Yeah.
We're making money, baby. We're minting money. Thank you. You know,
Wait.
every single thing in my entire account minus two stocks. I think I have 20 stocks, and everything minus two were recommended by you. And I include in that not just gold mining, but gold itself and silver
Right.
itself and Bitcoin and several different Bitcoin accounts. But my point is, everything's recommended by Kip and Tyler, and everything has been up all year until finally a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we had that dip, and I got really scared. If I didn't know you guys, I would have sold in panic because I had a nice profit. Why not lock it in? I didn't sell a thing. I held on. As of this moment, I just looked. I'm right back to the high I was 6 weeks ago. I've made it all back. So thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a nice run. And I made another big investment today in Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. I already had an investment in it and I doubled it. So you got me as a believer.
Wayne, you're a smart guy. What can I say?
We
Try my
love to
best.
hear it. That's great.
Listen, that's a good place to start this because look, and again, if you're new to us here, welcome to our podcast, Vertical Research Advisory. My name is Kip Herriage. I was on Wall Street 15 years, helped take 7 companies public, managed a bunch of money and all that kind of thing. Retired 6 months before the dot-com bubble became the dot bomb, and then started the era in 2003. We beat the market. This will be 19, unless the bottom falls out. This will be 19 to 22 years, and this is going to be a good year. We think next year, as I said earlier, is going to be a really special year. And listen, Wayne and I go back. Wayne, this is about 2003 when it's a great story. And I really haven't gotten to tell it much. We're doing an event. This is when we were in Las Vegas doing a big event. And this is literally 15 minutes before the event, a 3-day event was going to end. And our friend, Jeff Combs, walks up to me and he goes, "Hey, listen, I need you to let me put a friend of mine on stage." I'm like, "Jeff, I'm about to go on stage and wrap this thing. We're done. This event's over." And he goes, "Trust me on this. It's Wayne Allen Root. You've got," and I knew your name. I'd never met you. And he goes, "He's a Vegas guy. He's right here. You got to put him on stage." You got up on stage for 15 minutes, brought the house down. And our stupid speakers thing, which I always got best rated speaker at every event I did. You got number one speaker ahead of me for doing a 15-minute speech. But anyway, we were fast friends after that. You spoke at every event. You always showed up. US globally, didn't matter what it was. You never said no. You always said yes. You were there morning, noon, and night, having breakfast, lunch with our attendees. Everybody loves you. You are Mr. Relentless. You've got an amazing background. You were the Libertarian vice presidential nominee. Got the most votes ever for the Libertarian Party. And you're a legend, man. What can I say? We love you.
Well, you covered the two things I care about. My two philosophies. Number one is be relentless. Never accept no. And number two is always say yes. And that's what I do, man. I'm 64 years old. I'll be on Medicare next year. I'll be 65 next year. And I haven't slowed down one bit. I say yes to everything and everyone because you never know which is the one that will change your life. Even though I already have a good life. I already have a great life. But it might be much greater if I say yes and somebody's watching or someone's listening and they can make my life even better. So always say yes. I don't know why people turn people down. I'm a yes guy, man.
That is the absolute truth of you. And look, you've got a hit new show, a deal you did with Gateway Pundit. I always watch it through X. Do you want to tell people about your new hit show?
Yeah, it's called War Zone, and war for Wayne Allyn Root. Obviously, I'm your Secretary of War, and it's about the mainstream media. You don't listen to the mainstream media anymore. You listen to the mainstream media. I'm the biggest MAGA mouth in the world, and I do a 2-hour daily podcast, video and audio. So just like us right now, it's on video, but you can also go get it anywhere you listen to audio podcasts. It's available every day, Monday through Friday. The exact time it's on is 6 to 8 p.m. East Coast time. 6 to 8 p.m. East, which is 3 to 5 West Coast time. I'm in Las Vegas. I'm on the Pacific Ocean side. And I just dig into the same stuff I do with my weekend show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice. It's a 2-hour daily version of my weekend America's Top 10 show. I just attack everything going on in the world. I support and celebrate Trump, and I attack the left all day long, because I love America and I love capitalism. And so I celebrate it all day long, 2 hours a day, every day. So you can find it at Rumble. Just type in Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. You can find it at thegatewaypundit.com. 2.5 million unique daily readers, over a billion page views last year for the second year in a row, or I should say this year for the second year in a row, 1 billion last year, on the way to going 1.2 billion, 1.3 billion this year. And also Patriot TV, patriot.tv. Patriot.tv every day, or go to my website, root4america.com, to hear a recap of all of that. At the top, it says, watch Wayne on TV, watch Wayne's podcast, listen to Wayne's TV show. Click on any one of them. You're either on live, it shows you how to go there, or you get a library of all my recent shows. All right, the floor is yours.
I have to say, you've interviewed the president more than anybody. I think it's
16 times.
16 times, okay? And what people may not know about you is that, I mean, you and the president obviously now are fast friends. You talk all the time. You've got a direct line of communication to him, which is pretty cool. We're one person removed from the president, and I've seen the benefit of that. I've come to you with ideas. Next thing I know, you're telling the president things are happening. It's crazy. I got to tell you, it's so cool having you as a friend, all right? But you also are very direct and honest with the president. If you disagree with something you tell him. I think a lot of sycophants that he probably has in his sphere would not do that, and you do it. And you've also done that in your own life. I've seen you since I've known you lose multiple opportunities because you don't bend the knee to anybody. You are Wayne Allyn Root. You stand for what you believe in. I love you. Everyone, that's why your fans love you so much, and why people follow you wherever you go, man, because you are the real deal.
But I got to give you a but I'm gentle when I criticize the president. Very gentle. Right. Because I understand, first of all, I understand where he's at. He almost died twice for us. Yeah. Almost got his brains blown out twice for us. And once he really did basically have his brains blown out. I mean, it grazed his ear. If he had moved 1 inch one way or the other, splattered on national TV, never sees his family again. We never see him again. So he's almost died for us. He's almost been sent to prison for life. 4 indictments, 4 times for us.
Yes.
He almost lost his life savings in New York for us. He was in purgatory for 4 years, not only being indicted, but just out of office and maligned and attacked and told he was a traitor. He committed treason on January 6th. The guy has been through hell when all he had to do was hang out in Mar-a-Lago and enjoy his billions of dollars. He did it all for us. So to ever criticize him and say, I'm mad at President Trump, like Marjorie Taylor Greene did, for an example, or like Candace Owens does, or like Tucker Carlson does, you sound like an ingrate, and you're just making him so mad because of what he's done for us and the sacrifices he's made. He doesn't want to hear it. So I'm very good at saying, look, every time I criticize him, I frame it the following way. These are the things he did for us. He almost died. I told you all the things I just said. And look at the great achievements of the first term and now of the first year of the second term. And then I'll name some of them and I'll say he does more in a week than any other president has done in 8 years, including my hero, Ronald Reagan. Okay, despite all that, there is something I'm angry about, and then I'll say it. See, when you lay it out like that, he can never get mad at you. He's the greatest president of my lifetime. He's one of the greats of all time. He does more in a week than anyone else does in 8 years, but he's wrong on this one. But if you just come out and say he's wrong on this one, you're just going to destroy the man. How much good can he do for you? And yet you throw it in his face and say you don't like him. You can't do it that way. So I'm very careful how I do it, and I think he appreciates that.
Well, no doubt he does. He proves that he does because of your relationship. And he values that honesty. I know he must value that honesty.
I'm headed to Washington Sunday. Do you know that, for the Christmas party? I'm at the White House Christmas party Monday night.
Do you have a +1 or?
Well, yeah, Cindy, my wife.
All right. You always say that every time. It's always her. I don't understand.
You don't want me to get divorced, do you?
I've known you longer, but I've known you longer. Okay. I know in the interest of time, you've got a show in 15, 20 minutes. Let's get right to it because, again, I said a minute ago, you've lost more opportunities than anybody I know because you don't bend the knee. And that certainly happened with the Plandemic. You stood up you and I were both talking like in February, March of 2020 going, what's going on here? This makes no sense whatsoever, right? And then next thing you know, we're getting suspended on Twitter, all these other platforms, banned eventually, both you and I banned. But for you, it was much worse. You lost jobs. You lost a lot of opportunity. But again, you didn't bend the knee. And so you told me a long time ago, you're going to get your revenge. You're going to have your day. Tell the people here today to hear about this because other people have been damaged as well. Tell people what happened to you and what you're doing about it.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm sure part of my censorship was for being a big defender, a fiery defender at all times of President Trump. I'm sure it was arguing that the 2020 election was stolen. I mean, there were a lot of reasons why they marked me, why I became a marked man, why bullseye was on my face because I was right over the target on so many issues from the border to fentanyl and drugs and how I believe all the Democrat politicians are on the payroll of the drug cartels. And I believe that's absolutely over the target, man. I'm telling you, I'm the only guy in America who constantly says the reason they defend illegals so strongly and they're willing to stop everything to rush to, El Salvador to bring somebody back who's an MS-13 gangbanger is because they're on the payroll of China, who makes the fentanyl, and Mexican drug cartel, who brings the fentanyl in. They're all bought and paid for. And a lot of Rhino Republicans are too. So they don't like me because of all those reasons too. But there's no question the single biggest thing that made me a marked man was from the day that the COVID vaccine was announced. I was very skeptical, very negative. I didn't know anything yet, so I didn't say, oh, it's going to give you cancer, heart disease, strokes, blood clots, and 1,000 other neurological and immune diseases, which it does. All I said was, I don't want to be a crash test dummy. Do you want to be a monkey in a cage? Why would you want to be a crash test dummy when you know nothing about it? I don't even buy cars in their first year of production. I kept saying that. So why would I let them inject me with an experimental vaccine in the first week of production? Are you people crazy? So I said that to start. Then within 3 months, I went much further because I saw the VAERS list, Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System. And I knew instantly that thousands were dead from the vaccine, more than any vaccine in history combined times 10. In a matter of weeks, I knew that, and I saw that. And the average person to this day doesn't know that. They don't even know what VAERS is. People live in a clueless bubble. I don't understand it, because anyone could go to VAERS and look it up, and liberals go, oh, that doesn't mean anything. It was the gold standard of vaccine medicine for the last 5 decades. When there was a vaccine, if 8 people died, they canceled the vaccine. Okay? Now, thousands dead, and they make believe that the system doesn't work and you can't listen to the system. It's the most incredible thing I've ever seen. Within weeks of that, I was reporting on the trials. In other words, the vaccine makers like Pfizer, Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, they all had trials. Thousands died in the trials, and they covered it up. And then they went to the FDA and begged the FDA to literally seal the trial results for 75 years till all of us alive today would be dead. And the average person still doesn't understand this ever happened, doesn't know it ever happened unless you watched my show. And then I went to the next level. I said, this is just a guess on my part, but I believe every doctor in America that's giving out the vaccine is getting bonuses for giving out the vaccine and getting rich for each vaccine they give. Sure. Proven right again. There are pediatricians who made $1 million a year by vaccinating 70% or more of the children in their practice. Can you imagine? That's blood money. Those children, many of them are going to be crippled, disabled, immune compromised, or dead. This is a disaster. So I started reporting on all this. And last but not least, I think I was the first guy in America to also say the reason you're not hearing about it, there's a total media blackout, is because the media gets rich off of big pharma. That it's half of all the ad revenue in the entire United States is pharmaceutical revenue. Without it, the entire newsroom would be laid off. All those people working there would lose their jobs. So you don't think they have a vested interest and a conflict of interest to cover it all up? So I said all of that 5 years in a row. I've been saying this every day for 5 years, and everybody got pissed who was on the other side that was making money, and they said, we got to quiet people like Wayne Root up. And so they went to Stanford University, and this is not Wayne guessing or anything. This has all been in the news. The government, together with Stanford, put together an entire division at Stanford that censored anybody who had anything negative to say about the COVID vaccine. And by the way, the government paid giant multi-million-dollar bonuses to TV networks and media for not allowing any guest like Wayne Root to ever say anything negative about the COVID vaccine, or to allow, or to never allow any person that works for you, any anchor person or host, to ever say anything negative about the COVID vaccines. That's why you all that are literally fans of Kip and Tyler, you probably watch Fox News or you watch Newsmax. Those networks were paid millions to never mention a negative side effect of the COVID vaccine. So I'm the only guy in America that was out there for 5 years telling people these things. They had to silence me. So now we've announced with a pretty large law firm in Los Angeles, $100 million lawsuit against all the people that silenced me, Stanford University, and social media out there. Everything from Facebook and Instagram to YouTube to, you name it, TikTok, Google, all of them. We sued them, and we sued them for $100 million. And now we hope it goes to discovery. We hope no judges throw it out. They allowed a lawsuit to go through. And if they do, it goes to discovery. And when it goes to discovery, we're allowed to ask them, who made you silence Wayne Root? See, we haven't sued the government yet. As soon as we go to discovery and they have to disclose that it was this specific person at this specific agency that was asking us to silence you, they will be sued as well. We will sue every government agency involved, and we will sue every individual person personally who made that decision to censor in the United States of America, that's protected by the Constitution and the very First Amendment, which says you cannot censor free speech. So, I'm out there fighting the battle, and hopefully if I win, it'll open it up for everybody else to sue as well. We all deserve money for the damages they caused us.
Did you consider doing this as a class action?
Well, it wasn't up to me. I just went to a friend of mine who's a great lawyer. Matter of fact, he's a guest on my show today, Barack Lurie. And I said, Barack, this is a great case. And he looked at it for 6 months, everything I sent him, and finally he agreed to take it on with his law firm and sue them in the name of Wayne Allyn Root. So I don't, we never discussed class action. Eventually it could either become it or it could lead to a class action. He might wind up, if he wins this, he might wind up being the lawyer that then gets the class action lawsuit, puts it all together, and accepts everybody else. But in this case, it's about the losses I personally lost. We believe, we've hired forensic experts, and we believe it really did cost me $100 million. So, and we could prove that. Now, the average person may not be able to prove any loss. If you're a tailor, a butcher, a baker, or a candlestick maker, they censored you, but how'd that lose you money because you couldn't speak at Twitter? There may be no way to get any money for a person like that. But a person like me who's a professional in the media, who lost jobs, who lost audience members, who lost advertisers, who lost book sales, all the above, it's almost impossible to believe how much money they cost me.
So the next step is what your discovery is going to start taking place then.
Well, the discovery starts only if the lawsuit is allowed to go forward. We have to get by the liberal judges in California now and see whether we get this forward. And why California? Because every social media company and Stanford are all based in California, and they all have charters that say you can only sue them in their district in California. So we've done that. So now it's up to judges to let this lawsuit go through. And if they do, then it's time for discovery. And then we'll find out who in the government actually ordered this horrendous anti-American, un-American censoring.
I will tell you that if it goes this way, and if there is a possibility of opening this as a class action, think about the thousands of people that would join in that were banned from Twitter, that it did affect them, maybe not to the degree that it affected you, but to some degree. I would think there'd be a lot of power behind that and very popular. So again, that's something we can talk about in the future. I know also people are probably sitting here going, okay, well, he's close to President Trump. Trump has called himself the father of the jabs. You have addressed this with the president on multiple occasions. I think people might want to hear how that's gone.
Well, look, I interviewed him 16 times, and all 16 times, well, if some of them were before the jab. So let's say about 10 of the 16 were since the jab. Maybe 12 of the 16 were since the jab. Each time he came on my show, I tried to ask him something about the jab, and I did it the same way I mentioned at the front of this interview. I didn't come out and say, you're wrong, people died, this is a nightmare. I said, look, you're the best president of my lifetime, and even when it comes to the one thing in the whole world I've ever disagreed with you on, which is the COVID vaccine, it's okay, because you never mandated it for anyone. They had a right to choose in this country, freedom. They could choose whether they wanted it or not. You didn't force anyone to leave the military. You didn't force any cop to resign from being a police officer. You didn't force any fireman to resign. Everyone had a right until Biden became president, till he stole the 2020 election, and then he mandated it through OSHA, made it a workplace thing, a workplace law, so you couldn't keep your job unless you were vaccinated. And then everybody took the vaccine rather than lose their job, their income, while their kids, how do you pay your mortgage? How do you pay your kids in college? I understand the decision that people had. It was a terrible, terrible, un-American decision caused by Biden. And of course, he's brain dead with, a dementia zombie puppet. It was really the decision of Barack Obama, who was the real secret president of the United States behind the scenes. So Obama and Biden made everyone get vaccinated. And again, I think it was just an attempt to either get rich or an attempt to kill off the opposition, or both. I don't know whether they had an intent to kill people or whether they just wanted to get rich because they owned stock and stock options, and they got all kinds of bonuses, and they had family members who were probably on the board of directors of Pfizer and Moderna. All these people got filthy rich with the vaccine. They were tipped off to buy stock, and they made hundreds of millions of dollars. Every politician, every government official made millions. Their secretaries probably made millions. Everybody got rich, and they didn't want anyone to upset the apple cart like me and just bring up the little fact that people are dropping dead left and right.
What has the president said to you? Maybe if you can talk about off the record a little bit about this.
Well, on the record, he always says, Wayne, we disagree. I think it's great. I think I saved 300 million lives, but I didn't force anybody to do it, and when I'm reelected, I will make sure that the military gets their jobs back with back pay, and I'll make sure no child ever has to take the vaccine, because no child ever has any reason, no child ever died from COVID unless they had cancers. There was no reason to ever give a child a vaccine. That was always his response each and every time. And I live with that. It's fine. I can live with that. Everyone has a right to decide if they want to take it or not. If I was president, I would cancel the vaccine completely. I believe it should be killed. There should be no more vaccine. But the reality is, if you want to take it, keep taking it. It's going to be more for me and my kids when all the liberals wind up dead. I don't want them to be dead. I've been trying to save their lives. But they won't listen, Kip. I feel the same way about abortion. I am absolutely anti-abortion. But it's pretty much only liberals that keep killing their kids. So I keep trying to save their children's lives. They keep killing them. In 20 years, when the country has twice as many Republicans as Democrats, look what they've done to themselves. I can't help it.
Your logic is hard to argue with. Listen, I know you got to go in a couple minutes here, but you brought something up earlier today that I know is something you're very passionate about. You've been one of the biggest defenders of Tina. Talk about what's happened to this American patriot and she may die in prison. Tina Peters.
Yeah, Tina Peters was an election official in Colorado, and she saw the election of 2020 was being stolen by the machines. By hacking into the machines, they could change the vote counts, I believe is what she found out. But again, I wasn't there, and no one's let it get out because they threw her in prison right away. That's what I believe she found out. She had physical proof. She took a receipt of the votes, which you're not allowed to do. Evidently, it's written into election law in Colorado that the next day all the vote proof has to be destroyed. Isn't that interesting? So she took the receipt and she tried to prove, hey, look, the election was stolen. Look at these irregularities. They flipped votes. And in response to that, they came, they raided her home. I guess a SWAT team came in, raided her, put her in prison, and they found the judge found her guilty. Put her assigned 9 years in prison was her sentence. 9 years in prison. Look around America: murderers, rapists, gangbangers, drug dealers, pedophiles, perverts. Our country's overflowing with bad people, evil people, and all of them. The liberal judges let them right out with no bail. She gets 9 years for what? For saving a receipt of the vote? You get 9 years in prison when she's a 70-year-old Gold Star mother and a survivor of lung cancer. So she's rotting away in a prison in Colorado, and it's not a prison camp like a dormitory. It's like a hardcore prison for murderers. And she's now in solitary confinement. She was thrown in there a few days ago for speaking to the media. And she thinks that her friends tell me she thinks she has her lung cancer back again. She can't even get out of bed. She can't even walk. She's just lying there, lifeless. She could be dying. So far, there've been 3 attempts on her life trying to murder her on top of that. And they're torturing her. They're giving her drug tests every day. Can you imagine if you're dying, if you're sick and dying of cancer in a freezing cold jail cell, and they drug test you every day? Why? They think a 70-year-old Gold Star mom is on heroin? Is that what they think? So
they want to kill her.
They want to kill her. Because if she dies, the story dies with her. She's the most dangerous woman in America to the Democrat Party because she knows how they stole the 2020 election. But let's assume you disagree with me and her and you don't believe it was stolen. Then why are they treating her that way? If she's crazy and if she doesn't have real proof, then why wouldn't you just let her go and let her talk and she'll look like an idiot and everyone will laugh at her and she'll disappear and that'll be the end of it? It leads me to believe that they know that she knows. She knows where the bodies are buried. They know she is dangerous and could destroy the entire Democrat brand and prove the entire election was a fraud in 2020, and they're still stealing elections today. And they can't afford to let her out, so they want to keep her in, and they know she'll die in the next 9 years, and they're letting her die slowly. Terrible. You've
been one of the most vocal people out there, bringing this up, making sure people are aware of it. Can the president not do anything here?
Well, everybody keeps answering me and go, well, why doesn't your friend President Trump pardon her? It's a state crime in Colorado. It's got no federal ability. President can only pardon federal. President can only pardon federal. He's got no ability to go in and pardon a state criminal. Same reason he pardoned Steve Bannon, right? When he left office the first time. But Steve Bannon still wound up in prison in New York State. Right. Because there's nothing you could do about a state crime. President cannot be involved. But my feeling is at this point, this is so clearly that she's a prisoner of war. She is literally a political prisoner in a gulag in the United States, like this is the Soviet Union or communist China. And what they've done to her is so criminal. He's got to come up with something. He's the president of the United States. I don't care if you have to raid the damn prison with FBI SWAT teams, with United States Marshals, and drag her out of that prison. I don't care what you have to do. I don't care if you have to cut off all funding to Denver, the city, or the state of Colorado. I don't care if you have to declare her a federal whistleblower witness for a stolen 2020 federal election and therefore have marshals take her under their control and bring her to a federal prison and decide what to do with her. But you got to get her out of Colorado.
Wayne, will you do us a favor and come back when your lawsuit progresses and you start getting discovery? You keep us in the loop here?
You got it. Always, Kip. You know that. Tyler, thank you.
Man, love you, man. Yeah. You're a great American, right? I'm proud to call you my friend. Thanks for joining us today on our Very Investing Podcast.
Thank you for all the advice you've given me because our friendship is now even. You've really taken good care of me, my friend. So thank you.
Thanks, Wayne. Appreciate you, brother.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. God bless. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Thank you, Wayne.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Everyone, thanks for being here today. Appreciate it. We'll see you back again tomorrow with our Very Investing Podcast. Bye-bye.
All right, boys.
Thank you so much, Wayne.